But who better than me?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the casual stream with your boy, Base the Kid. As always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, colleague, relative, associate, enemy, any and all in between. It is appreciated. Also, apologies, I'm a little bit later than I wanted to be. A little situation came up last minute that I just had to sort of address. And also, I've had to kind of rush to do things a little bit today. We did used to do sort of the 7:30 thing, but 8 o'clock was starting to be a bit more nicer. Sometimes a little 8:15. Everyone knows kind of how Tuesday is, but with the emergence of a little bit of a selfish Tuesday night smoke today, I had to jump on and go a little bit earlier to make sure that we could kind of leave a little bit earlier. We won't get the full hour today. There was a few bits and pieces that I did. I did want to make it a bit more interactive. Some people jump on and whatnot. I don't think I'm going to get the time to do that. Now, from what I think, I do think that obviously Undefeated is starting about 8:30. I saw on the thing earlier on though that it looked like it was supposed to be starting at 8. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna clash. But you know, I was here first, so I got first dibs. You know, we'll have to settle the rest in the tribunal later on. But peace and love to everyone who is in attendance thus far. Let me take a little look to see who's jumped in the chat from early on, and I guess a bit impromptu. I haven't even put this out on the socials. We're literally just going straight off, and whoever sort of jumps in. Okay, so we got man like Philip Anson number one in the building as always. It's nice that you retained your title there, Philip. Well done, or should I say, regained it. It's the fake monster. Yeah, we're gonna be talking a little bit about some of the shenanigans of Benavides and Lukovic and all that stuff. And you know what? I wouldn't even have made any comment of this, but I can't lie. You know, my guy, my boy Danny Glover, he tried to come on a mad one in the chat the other day, in the private chat, in the boxing group, and it was just to the point where, because he decided to kind of call me out on something, I'm just gonna go to town, you know, with all of the Benavides rhetoric and the back and forths and the contradictions and all that good stuff. Man like Muller in the building, shout out to you, big ups. Jonah 31 in the building, and man like Veritas Ad Astra as well, big ups to you. So look, we ain't got a lot of time, so we're just gonna sort of dive straight into things. Whoever sort of jumps in, and we'll get to sort of that a little bit later on. But look, this is basically how we are going to start off. Right, so if you guys can see the picture from the thumbnail, I don't have it loaded up in here because literally everything was kind of done, as I said, a bit last minute. But you'll see a picture of David Benavides and Zurdo Ramirez. And just to give some context to that, I stated how long ago roughly? We're talking maybe about a month ago, a couple months back. I said that David Benavides, his next fight ain't gonna be. He's not looking to fight the winner of Bivol Beterbiev. He's more than likely gonna try and go up to Cruiser to face Zurdo Ramirez. A similar trajectory, both guys obviously starting or having their careers at 168. Both, sort of had a brief stint at 175, but then Zurdo, the thoughts maybe he probably doesn't hit the hardest at 100 and 200 pounds, I should say, down the upper cruiserweight. But also, it's a fight that you can kind of do without the involvement of Saudi. It is my belief that David Benavides and the team don't particularly want to work with Saudi, not because they don't want the money on offer, More so because if you go to Saudi, you have to fight the fights that you're not favored to win, that you can't finagle, you can't shenanigans your way in to make sure that you get the favorable treatment and decision and the A side situation. Now, with all due credit to Benavidez and his most recent fights, he has, won the majority of them in quite comfortable fashion, or at least in clear fashion. You guys know my thoughts on the Vosdick fight. You guys also know my thoughts on the Plant fight. But yeah, look, ultimately, the one thing I have said, and no one can refute, no one can deny, nobody can tell me that factually I am incorrect, is that he hasn't been able to stay in quote unquote character and be the Mexican monster, the boogeyman, the hardest guy in the division since moving up to 175 pounds. Um, it's been quite clear that since moving up to 175, something has given, whether that's the power isn't translating up there, or the people are now the same size as him, so he's not having the dominance over them. Maybe the fact that he's now facing people, or will be facing a lot of people that aren't PBC rich, if you guys know what I mean by that. And about 5 hours ago, give or take, there was a Ring magazine article that came out from I'm not sure. Let's see who wrote this. Manuk Akupian, and it says Ramirez versus David Benavidez. Zerdo says that's the fight people want to see. So Zerdo Ramirez, who's at cruiserweight, and David Benavidez at light heavyweight, is the fight that people want to see. Well, as much as I will watch that fight if it comes on, who wants to see it? Who's asked for that fight? That was a fight that the two of those have gone in the DMs and spoke about on a couple of occasions, gone on the socials like IG and that, and spoken into existence. No one asked for that fight. But anyway, the article reads, North Hollywood, California, WBA and WBO cruiserweight champion Gilberto Zerdo Ramirez has lofty goals set after his planned unified title defense on June 28 against Junior Dorticos. So should Ramirez walk away successful from the slugfest, he imagines the floodgates opening with a variety of fights, including number one, cruiserweight title unification bout against the Ring and IBF champion Jaya Pataya and current WBC belt holder Badu Jack, which should be the number one choice, to be honest, unifying, becoming undisputed. Number two, a rematch against Dimitri Bivol at cruiserweight following the lone loss in his career at light heavyweight in 2022. Three, welcoming the likes of Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez for matchups between Mexican countrymen. Number four, giving Jake Paul a real cruiserweight contest. And number five, and one day moving up to campaign as a heavyweight. So he says here, it's exciting for me to know about all the good fights we can make. People want to see those fights and we need to give it to them. I want to fight all of them and build on my legacy. This is the right path. So then he says, fighting Jaya Pataya excites me. I would like to fight him. Supposedly he's the best cruiserweight, but I have 2 titles and I'm the best cruiserweight in the division. He's a good champion, but everyone is looking at him like he's the best. But I'm the best, and I will prove myself to everyone. That's a fight that I want. Okay, that's the kind of energy we like. The rematch against Bivol would be better. It was hard for me to make 175 pounds. I don't take anything away from him, but I was not 100% against him that night, but it happened and I've moved forward. I'm stronger and faster at cruiserweight. My weight is good because I'm not draining myself. It will be different for me on fight night against Bivol. Now, I will admit, at cruiserweight, that's a totally different proposition. Obviously, he is a naturally bigger guy than Dimitri Bivol, even though he's fought at a naturally smaller weight than Bivol. Take that how you want to take it. Number three, though, Ramirez, however, believes a bout against Benavides is the likeliest one of them all. Both fighters have a history together with spirited sparring sessions. Benavides' father and trainer Jose Sr. was in Ramirez's corner in 2016 for Zerdo's first world title victory, a unanimous decision against then WBO super middleweight champion Arthur Abraham. Of course, the Benavides fight people want to see, said Ramirez. He's a great champion and a pound for pound fighter. I mean, who the hell told him that, first of all? Well, we carry on. Um, why not if he wants it too? We're friends and I know his family, but if the money is right, we can make the fight happen. We've had amazing sparring sessions together that were pay-per-view worthy on its own. We can have a great fight against each other. It would be a fight of the year like Marco Antonio Barrera versus Juan Manuel Marquez, two Mexicans just throwing down with a lot of exciting punches. If he wants to move up to cruiserweight, we can make the fight happen. For me, I don't have a problem fighting a Mexican. I can fight anyone. I'm a fighter. That's what I do. Also, in an interview with The Ring last month, Jose Benavides Sr. said his son David would welcome a fight with Ramirez as well. We can move up to cruiserweight to face Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, Benavides Sr. told The Ring. It would be an honor to face Zurdo. He's a great friend and fighter. That's what friends are for. Why not fight each other? We'll get to make money together. If it was up to me, I would love to face Bivol, then fight Better Beef, then fight Zurdo Ramirez. Well, you've got the options to do that, and you're choosing not to at this point. But that would be my dream, and something we would like. At this point, David feels really good. He has the height for it. He feels good at 168, 175, and he can go to cruiserweight as well. He's right in the middle, and it's all down to adjusting up or down. Okay, so the last part's bare bullshit, but let's get to the meat and bones of what we're talking about here. So you see in the ring, it clearly stipulated the likeliest option is Ramirez versus Benavides. Something I've been saying for a good month at this point. Now, you're gonna get some people who say, "Oh, but Dimitri Bevil's he's not free. Like, why would he doesn't? You shouldn't have to wait for him. He can't. He's not gonna get the next shot. Better Bev will be the trilogy fight's gonna be next." And you're quite right. That may be the case, but Samson Lukowicz the other day was on an interview where he quite literally said Saudi obviously he's been assured he's a WBC interim champion, and the WBC are trying to even jump the queue to take a belt off of Dimitri Bivol. But he was offered a fight, and they said they was offered a fight for huge money to fight in Saudi next. Presumably, I would assume on the undercard of Bivol and Better Beef 3, or sometime a bit earlier than that, whereby then you get a guaranteed shot at the winner. Turkey has already said that you will get that shot. He wants to see that fight, or he wants to see you fight one of these people. The WBC have already got you in position to fight for that title, but all of a sudden your most likeliest move is to move up to cruiserweight when you haven't even taken care of work at light heavyweight yet. Like, what are we doing? Now, is it a fact that because at 175 there's not a huge American market? The majority of the of the 175 stable is quite clearly and quite dominantly in the UK and Europe. Your Anthony Yards, your Joshua Buatsi's, Callum Smiths, Lyndon Arthurs, Craig Richards, Dan Aziz. Then you've got the others like the Malik Zanads. I mean, look, that's a fight you could keep busy with. When in there with Dimitri Bivol, you can fight Michael Eifert, who is the interim IBF champion. Go and get, if you want to go and grab another interim title. But you've got him and you've got Callum Smith, both of them with interim belts, who are also like the next in line for these title fights. These are fights that you can have. You don't even have to have them on Saudi money. Like, you can make those fights on PBC money. You put a decent undercard underneath it, and you're gonna put it on pay-per-view anyway. These are options that you can have, and you frame it all behind being the next undisputed champion. Whoever wins this is the next guy up. No worries, no problems. But you have that. But the most likeliest option is supposedly a fight with your friend Zurdo Ramirez. Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't a slight on Zurdo at all. This is more a slight on Benavidez and the constant moving of the goalpost that him and his team seem to have. Ever since the whole quote unquote Canelo thing, right? Now, yes, did Canelo show any keen interest in taking the Benavidez fight 168 pounds? No, there was no keen interest. But he said, look, money talks, and if the fight gets made, then I'll take the fight. No problem. He's never said that he won't take the fight, but yes, he has been very dismissive of that fight. However, what happened when Canelo actually said, okay, he moved closer to that fight than ever before? PBC, he actually signed with the PBC. As soon as he signs with the PBC, David Benavidez and team go from being very loud, vocal, and disrespectful about we want Canelo, Canelo's ducking us, to being very quiet all of a sudden. To the fact that the WBC, the organization whose belt you held twice, the organization that gave you interim status, you never pressed them for a mandatory position. You never pressed them to call a mandatory. Why? Why would you not do that? I know why you didn't. But I'm gonna leave that for the people in the chat to sort of figure out, understand, and come to their own conclusions on. But you've got that. Then, at the precise moment where the WBC say you will have Canelo next, but your choice is you either fight Canelo at 168, or you can be interim at 175. You moved up to 175 immediately, even though they guaranteed you Canelo next. They said you will be next challenger. We will mandate the fight, and at that moment you jump up to 175. Does that really sound like someone that was beating down the door for the Canelo fight at that precise moment? I don't know. Me personally, that's not how it shakes up. But then you go through this process now, and you've got Bivol and Beterbiev. Now, maybe you feel more inclined that you can fight Bivol more than Beterbiev. But I know that when Artur Beterbiev himself won that initial fight, you weren't really screaming his name, saying that you want to take that. He said, yeah, look, I want to be undisputed. I mean, you said it, but when it came time for like the actions to actually do it, where was the action? I mean, to the point you flew to Saudi, 15-hour flight to fly to Saudi to show face, and then you left before the main event even started. Like, who does that if you're next in line, or you want to really like cement your name and beat down the door for that? You charge the ring. You charge the ring and say, look, I want to fight you. Congratulations, you won. Now it's my turn next. I got the 2 interim titles. I got 2 other titles for your belts. Let's unify them. Let's find out who the best is. That's what you do. Canelo Alvarez literally called you into the ring after his, what was it? Was it the Berlanga fight or the Munguia fight? I think it might have been the Munguia fight. He called David, but you see him in the crowd. Yo, come into the ring. Let's do this. And David's like, nah, you're all right. Nah. Why would you not go into the ring? Why? So that's 2 instances now. We're literally looking at it, and it's David Benavidez not necessarily doing what needs to be done, like to take these fights. Now, yes, did Turkey then ultimately say, I no longer care about Benavidez and Bivol, I want the rematch? Yeah, he did. But did he say that before or after the events of what took place in Saudi? So maybe, and we know that Turkey he can be a bit emotional and a bit high-strung and a bit maybe principled, yeah? So imagine the person that you've flown out to Saudi Arabia to come and witness this fight and to maybe have talks and have negotiations with, has gone and left before the main event's taken place. You've not been able to have any negotiations or any chats. So now Turkey's like, oh well, okay, well, I'm not going to bid on that fight. Then if you don't want to, show me the respect to have conversations and have a chat, why am I, okay, I don't want that fight anymore. That's what Turkey's like. We understand that, but ultimately we know he's not going to stand on that because he said he wanted to crush Canelo. Now all of a sudden he's got Canelo on a 4-fight deal. He's also talked. The only person who doesn't seem to really want to go that way, well, there's two of them. There's obviously David Benavidez. Don't really seem like he wants that Saudi money because it comes with very difficult fights, and obviously Tank Davis, who also doesn't want that Saudi money because he knows it comes with fights that he's not heavily favored to win, as much as people might try to put him in that pound for pound bracket or whatnot. So yeah, that's kind of my initial thoughts on that particular part there. I'm gonna get into the chat in a moment, and I'll get to all the comments that I know I can see quite a few of are coming in at the minute. But I just wanted to come out and give that as a take. And again, this wasn't something that I had that I particularly had on the agenda. I happened to see it after I'd set up the stream, but then as I was thinking about things and the fact that the conversation and the message or the voice note that Danny Glover sent me, I was like, no, we can't do this because I'm not even gonna tell you what he did, because what is in the group chats and what's in the privates behind the scenes should stay in the privates and behind the scenes. But just to say, I felt what he'd done was crazy. And the correlation from what I initially spoke about to how he tried to align it to David Benavidez, it was nasty work. So just because of that, I said, all right, I'm gonna come on here and we're gonna talk up the real things right now about Benavidez and his plans. My prevailing theory is the Zurdo Ramirez match is the next one that they're looking for, primarily because it is a match that can be done outside of any sort of Saudi say or control, and you can definitely do a decent number on a PBC pay-per-view with it. A great number? No. I mean, you're looking at maybe 170, 200,000, but neither guy is going to be super expensive to pay. You do the $80 thing. Plus, it's there is a built-in, I guess, Mexican American crowd in there, and you can do it outside of Saudi's control. And it also gives Zurdo Ramirez an opportunity and a way out of not having to take a Jaya Pataya fight after Yornio Dorticos, because we also know that Oscar De La Hoya doesn't seem very keen about doing the matchups with the Eddie Hearn fighters. Which is crazy because at the moment I think he's is he not 2-0 up, or is it 1-1? No, I think it's 1-1 between them at the minute. But Oscar won the first round with obviously Arnold Barbosa against Jack Catterall. So yeah, I mean, it just seems very much like that is the plan, and I'm gonna see in the chat, see what you guys think about that and whether or not you see that to be the same way as me. And if you don't, cool. Jonah, shout out base, you need to take the undefeated podcast to court. I mean, look, I'm saying that the tribunal's being set up, man, because too many times I've been wronged by my bosses, and it's not nice. It's not appropriate. I shouldn't have to take this level of abuse and be overworked and underappreciated as much as I am. It's not nice. Shout out to Emma in the building, my favorite savage. Love Emma. Samson and David are a true reflection of the American boxing scene. Stupid and cowardly. See, I probably should have let you do the show. You said it a lot better than me and a lot more succinct and a lot quicker time. Man like D-Star Boxing in the building. Shout out to you, my guy. Thank you very much for tuning in. If anyone's wondering why American boxing is dying, there's your answer. Nice. Shout out to Alexander William, another resident American. I think Benavidez and Ramirez would sell at least 10,000 tickets on USA West Coast, and that would be a reason to do the fight. It definitely doesn't need Saudi money to be a decent to be a decent option. Hardly shocking Zoda with swerving Jai again. Yep. Although to be fair, what I will say, Emma, is I know for a fact Jai is not gonna fight Zerdo next anyway. After this, what is his name? Carlos Squayo. I think his name's Carlos. It might be. It might not be. But and the next fight for Jai Alpataya will likely be the winner of Badu Jack and Ryan Rositsky. He will probably get that fight next, and then maybe he might get a Zerdo fight after that when there's no other options for Zerdo. But he can make himself very busy for the rest of this year. The Dorticos fight he has to take, obviously it's mandatory, and Dorticos is quite old now, so he can probably get through that one. Then you can have a David Benavidez fight, and then all of a sudden that's you done for 2025, and then you can just long out 2026. You know, Jai likes to be active, so he's gonna just keep fighting every couple of months until he either gets bored or he moves up. Pokes is live, shout out to you as well. Philip looks like he's agreeing with Emma here. Facts. Emma Willis, like the UK and other international fighters, just fight without any fuss. Whereas when it comes to the Americans, you always hear a lot of fuss from these fighters. And no, okay, I mean, I won't 100% agree with that. There is a lot of fuss from UK and other markets, hence why it took 5 years for Beterbiev and Bivol to actually fight each other. But there's a lot less. It's a lot less talking from the UK lot than there are from the American side. I will give you that. Shout out to man like JC, ringside supporters, residents stand. Big ups to you. Zerdo doesn't want to fight Jai because he knows the rest of what the rest of us know. I mean, yep, there we go. There's who are those three bombs on the thumbnail? Well, to be honest, I didn't even check who the third one is. I just put it up. Oh, that's Jose. Okay, so that's actually Jose Benavidez Jr., Zerdo Ramirez, and then Benavidez. So this, I think this must have been an older picture from like maybe back in maybe 2018, 2019. Like, but they're definitely a lot younger in that picture. I didn't even realize who the last person was until I've just looked at it. And then the laughing. Shout out to Veritas. He says, respect, you saw Benavidez moves coming early. Yeah, 100%. See, sometimes it pays to pay attention, especially when there's people that bear contradictions. It's always good to pay attention to everything that comes out. Now, David may be the one here. He may actually want the smoke a little bit, not all, but a little bit. He might want a little bit of that. But you know for a fact, his team are never on the same page. He will say one thing, his dad will say something which is totally opposite, and then Samson Lukowicz will go around, do a 180, and then do a 360 back into the middle to then go back to the left-hand side to say something that doesn't make any sense to the conversations that either person's had before. They can never keep on the same page, and I think part of that is they want to put so many different stories out there, so when you try and call them out on it, you say, well, no, I didn't say that, or well, you say that, but there's a conversation, I said this on that conversation. So they want to always, it's almost like they want to be able to have plausible deniability in every single round. Well, I see through it. Christine in the building, shout out to In the Ring with Christine. #1 female boxing coach in the world, might be pound for pound #5 boxing coach, period, male or female. Shout out to you. One of the hottest grandmas out right about now, and I say that very respectfully, very humbly as well. And as the Queen Mama has said, hit that like and subscribe. Yes, please do. If you're in here on the way in, make sure you do that. Hot Pies in the building, salute to you. Big up base every time. Yes, big ups to you, man. Like Hot Pies, Star Fox WR45E, shout out to you. Big up base. You competed with Tuesday Night Smoke. No love lost during the parting of ways, I see. Hey, I'm not competing with them, man. Like, understand, Tuesday nights is my night. You know what I mean? Like, I christened this night. People knew that I had this night, and I was accosted. So you know what happens when people try to rob you. You got to stand your ground, innit? Is what it is. Um, these state men just want to be rich for nothing. I mean, there's a lot of postulating going on. I agree. Uh, Philip with the factuals, almost 12 years. Debuted in 2013, one defense, zero unifications at one weight. What the F? Yep. Is there to be impressed with? 100%. By the way, um, obviously we said it on Thursday. We said a nice happy birthday to Philip. I was meant to put his name in the basis picks video on Friday, and I totally forgot because I had to rush to do the video. I was doing it at work, and it was a very quick one. So yes, happy belated birthday to Philip in the chat. Turned 16 last Friday. Shout out to you, my guy. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed all the fights and everything, and whatever you did with the family. I hope it was enjoyable, and whatever you might have done with your friends as well. Yasmin in the building. Shout out to Yasmin Malik. Also one of the loyal subscribers. One of my favorite ride or dies as well. Always supports the channel. And as she says, just like Queen Mama said earlier, like and subscribe. It is much appreciated. Man, like James in the building, shout out to you. Salute. Um, and then Emma has responded to Philip. That's so disgraceful. Yet there will be hype. They will hype David like he's done something notable. 100%. PBC fighters behave so weird. Why is that? Most of them are used to comfortability. That's the first thing. I also think that most of them don't have any autonomy to do anything on their own, and probably they're locked into certain contracts that they can't get out of. So therefore, they have to do bare things and make it seem as if that they want certain opportunities, but then those opportunities can't get to them for whatever reason. But outside of that, I think that a lot of them are just used to being, or the bigger ones are used to being put in fights that are favorable to them and being somewhat protected and being given good money for fights that aren't really that compelling. Hence why most of them can only really get out once a year now, because PBC ain't got the money to pay them what they used to pay them and keep them active. It's one or the other. Christine with the Mexico flag. Yep, indeed. But we know you like a few other nationalities though, Christine. We won't talk about that, but it's not just Mexico you rep. Shout out to Veritas. Incredible to what lengths American fighters go to protect their careers with padded records and prepared excuses of chasing greatness in higher weights. Yeah, very, very rarely do they sort of stick to the script and try to clean out our division when it starts to get a bit tough. You go up with that excuse. Oh, well, I was chasing greatness. I dared to be great. And, no one can really criticize you for it. Hey, Carmen in the building. Shout out to Karma Serene. One of the other MVPs of the channel. Late, but she made it. You are never late. You're always on time. You are here when the stream is on. We appreciate you. I hope work is going well for you today. Shout out to FC. Salute everyone from Mexico. Also, you're from Mexico. Okay. Shout out to you, FC. I'm assuming the thumbnail kind of drew you into the live, but appreciate you. Guess I got a new little fan base coming from all sorts. I checked my metrics the other day. Would you imagine I had bare subscribers, not even subscribers, sorry, bare different views coming from like Malaysia. That was like my second or my third highest demographic of views. I was like, wow, okay. I mean, I might have to start trying to curate some content for the Malaysian fan base. It seems like I'm quite a big deal in that part of Asia. But yeah, it was that was a surprise. I wasn't expecting that to be third. I think Australia was like fifth or sixth. But you could tell, but the Australian one only comes when there's Jai Pattaya interviews, which is cool. It's funny enough, I still get comments now on Jai Pattaya videos from like last year and the year before. Fresh, like, oh, just seen this interview, great interview by Jai, and I'm like, wow, It's 2 years ago. But um, anyway, Veritas. They say if more boxers were like Wahib and Dakavides, a boxer like appear and can have a successful career, the less is the probability of new talent chasing real greatness. Yeah, it's very true. Um, we do need to try and get rid of as many of the smoke screens as possible. Now, I guess what we're hoping is that the whole Saudi thing, even though we know it's not gonna last, like like in totality, like for the whole term. If you can do it enough where enough of the best are fighting the best, and there's a lot of O's and stuff that have gone in that next reset, what I know them TKO guys are trying to do with this new up and coming crop of people, they might start getting to that point where all of a sudden, people they're going to have more of the fights rather than trying to pick and choose their way into opportunities. But that being said, I mean, look, Eddie Hearn has been guilty of that in the past. Frank Warren has definitely been guilty of that in the past. uh, I would say the one team that maybe isn't as guilty overall might be Top Rank for the most part, because obviously they give you all the building fights, but then they put you into world title fights and the right step up fights incrementally, um, to the point where if you win, you're winning because you're supposed to be winning, not just because like you're the A side fighter. Um, but obviously, we see with Matchroom now, they've realized, okay, that whole trying to build people and maneuver them, unless they're like your biggest of biggest stars, they're not doing that. Like, you have to fight the relevant fights. They want to see from early, can you hang? And sometimes, I'm not even gonna lie, they overmatch their opposition. Like, I mean, they overmatch the fighters, or they throw them in too fast into hard situations. And yeah, it's great for us. It's not necessarily great for the development of those fighters. Sometimes they do need to navigate that the actual development of those fighters a bit better. But overall, I mean, I can't lie. Sometimes, like they say, sink or swim. If you can swim there, then all good. Uh, Emma with the happy belated to Philip. Um, oh man, that Johnny Gaffer's in the building. What's Johnny saying? Uh, Listening while doing a back shoulders gym workout. Shout out to you. That's actually, I got to do that in the morning. Um, I'm not trying to overload my left shoulder too much, because obviously that's my injured one at the moment. But yeah, I've got back and shoulders in the morning before work, and then I've got legs on Thursday before work as well. I probably need to go a bit heavier on the legs because I didn't get to go on Sunday, so I'm one session down on the legs over the last 7 days. Man, like stay blessed, be real in the building. I'll go on to you. What's this? Another thing is like when these PBC fighters lose, like for example Wilder and Spence, it's like the end of the world for them. But yeah, because they're not bred to think that they can lose. So but more times, to be fair, when they do lose, they've already made so much money, they don't have the hunger to come back. Or it's not like they lost but they was on the dregs before. Like, they've made good paydays, and so the identity and the mystique is gone. They probably won't get the same kind of money that they thought they was gonna, or they was getting before, because they're now coming off of that loss. It's a bit of a hard pill to swallow. So in that instance, they're like, okay, well, if that's the case, then maybe we're just gonna go and do other things, and they never kind of recapture the glory. um Man like Anthony Hayweather in the building. Shout out to you. I said big up Base Savelli. In the past, Matchroom have been quality, but Eddie is not. I think it's quality you meant to say. But Eddie is not playing anymore. Or Eddie or have been. You might have. Okay, you may have made another chat. You probably have. Man said wifey back workout. They must think that I like what you did there. I like what you did. Um, okay, look. We're gonna go. From what I do know, I do think the man them are undisputed are going live at 8:30. So we will jump off in about 5 minutes or so. So yeah, look, everyone else, get your resident comments in. I know we haven't had a chance to talk about a broad range of things, but I definitely wanted to keep this one on the Benavides, Ducavides, all of that type of energy. Kame, I liken it to my wordy run, or my Wordle run, sorry. I had so many consecutive wins that when I finally lost, the game wasn't fun anymore. There you go. You can imagine, you know what? You could almost put that down to like, say someone who's on Duolingo, and and they got like the mad streak. Like right now, I think on my Duolingo streak, I think I'm on like 649 days or something. You think if I run out of like streak freezes and I ever lose that streak, you think I'm gonna start again? No, because I'm too long in the tooth, and I think that's the same with a lot of people. When it's something that maybe you're good at but you're not passionate about as such, which a lot of these guys, it wasn't their passion to do this. It was just a way to make money. Um, some of them just may have been better than others, but when you finally lose and you don't have that immediate get back, it's like, wow, what am I doing? Um, Star Fox says that's how AJ feels, Karma. I mean, yeah, but you know what? At least AJ went back into the trenches to get the titles back the first time. Now maybe he's realizing, you know what? All I really want, if I'm honest, is a Tyson Fury fight. Like, I've done everything else I need to do. Like, free time is great, but it doesn't define me. Um, I, you know, I mean, I don't need to run it back with Daniel Dubois, but I think he should, just to clarify whether or not you can beat this guy. But it's not it's not a requirement or a requisite. But I think he's just like, all right, I got a couple more fights in me. There's only one fight that interests me. That's Tyson Fury. Outside of that, maybe I might give you one. But if I can't have the Fury fight, then what else is there for me to do? Like, I've pretty much done everything I can in my era, and it is what it is. So that's how I kind of see it anyway. I could be totally wrong. Fury tore all his wordles up, it seems. Is Usyk versus Dubois 2 for Undisputed? Shout out Unlocking Faith documentary. Well, if it was to happen at this precise moment, it could be. Because that is where all the belts are situated. But we do know that the WBO have ordered Usyk to face Parker, which means that belt, if that fight doesn't get made next, that belt will go vacant. So chances are, no, it won't be undisputed. Or it will be the original free belt undisputed, because the WBO didn't get added until like, what was it, 2004? 2005, before it was like fully recognized in the four belt era. It might have actually, or was it 2000? It might have been later than that. Actually, it might have been like 2009, between 2009 and 2012, when it was like fully. It was obviously a belt, but when they actually crowned it as part of the four belt era, it might have been, yeah. It was around about the time when David Haye and Klitschko were fighting each other. So that was like 2009, I think, somewhere around there. But yeah, big ups to you, big up to you. All right, so we're going to go through just the last couple of comments. Like I said, a bit of a quick one tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I might actually go live again a little bit later on this week. I might even have some videos to do. I've been seeing some decent content that may be worth putting up. So, man at Star Fox says, has anybody seen Dubois lately? Extended holiday in Brazil, maybe. I think Cartel has recruited him, to be honest. Yeah, apparently the only time he's been seen was at those BBBOC awards once, and he ain't been seen since. No interviews, no nothing. but they're just ramping up to do the rollout for the next fight, which chances are is not gonna. I mean, look, it might be Usyk. Everything I said about it possibly being Derek Chisora could be the biggest reach I've made, but I still expect to see a Usyk and Parker fight get made with Dubois and Derek Chisora being made in the summer, because they did say that Dubois' next fight will be in the UK, so they're not doing it on Saudi dime. That's what Frank is saying. Yeah, I mean, look, again, I could be majorly wrong. I've been wrong before. Have touched on the AJ versus Paul situation or talk? No, haven't touched on that, and I've got no interest to do it today. And the BBO awards. Yeah, probably those as well. Shout out to Star Fox. We've got about another minute 20 before I close this one off. But yeah, look, I want to thank everyone who has jumped in. Like I said, very quick situation. To all my American peeps, if you're on your lunch breaks or if you're just starting work or maybe just coming in, shout out to you. Thank you for jumping in. FC from Mexico, thank you very much for being in attendance. Anyone else who is watching, who has been locked in, whether that's on YouTube, Twitter. If you are on Twitter, please jump on the channel, subscribe, all that good stuff. Everyone else who's here, the regulars, thank you very much for always being here, always tuning in, keeping company. And yeah, for anyone who's new, thank you very much for jumping in. And also, again, if you disagree with what I've got to say, never feel afraid to put your comments and tell me that I'm chatting shit and tell me why I'm chatting shit. I'm always happy to be wrong if I'm wrong. Shout out to Boxing Pro. He's Don Charles, the first black trainer to win a title. In the UK, yeah, but no, not in history. Bless up to Christopher Anthony. Shout out to you. All right, big ups to Star Fox and everyone else. Look, Hardcore Casual out. I will catch you on the next one. Till then, peace.
Maybe I'ma make it, maybe I'm not. In time we'll see. But who better than me? I don't care if you agree. I ain't saying that I'm better than anyone, but who better than me?